So the word dengue is derived from the Swahili phrase "kadinga pipo," means cramp like seizures, and the word malaria means bad air, because in the 18th century people thought that malaria was caused from breathing in bad air in marshy areas. Malaria is most commonly found in Africa and parts of Southeast Asia. Since 1981, these diseases have started emerging in Central and South America. And in 1998, Philippines had the worst history with this epidemic. And the last year, in 2021, as of October 13th, Maharashtra state has reported more than 10,000 cases of malaria and 9,000 cases of dengue. So, hello, I am your host Prashant, and today we have with us Miss Saundarya Priyan. She has done her BSc in nutrition, MSc in dietetics, and MSc in yoga. And she's also an actress and also a freelancer consultant at a yoga teacher. Today, ma'am will be enlightening us with her knowledge towards the topic. Thank you, ma'am, for taking the time to join us today as we talk about the physical effects of dengue and malaria.
Yes, thanks for welcoming me. And I think it is a right opportunity and the need of the hour, which is to talk about this malaria and dengue. And thanks for giving me the opportunity once again with the DORAI Foundation.
So, would
And
you like to say something?
yes, and I think DORAI Foundation, I think it is my fourth or fifth fest I'm joining with. I'm always so happy, and it is a kind of sharing of knowledge is what is more important now, and especially with the layman words, because when we say about big words, as you said, bad air, this and that, people gets kind of, oh my God, what are we? We get malaria, we get dengue. Are we going to die? First thing,
Yes, ma'am.
what people think. Even corona, people are so scared. It is getting very worse only because of the reason. 5 times, when 1 minute, 5 to 10 times saturation. What is my saturation? What is my saturation? So people gets that fear. So so it is always necessary for any nutritionist, mainly nutritional dietitian, to talk to the people directly, because doctors don't have much time about to talk all these things. They have got long queue. So as a nutritionist, I think it is our duty to talk about to the people about this, where the words to be put in the word, in the sense where they can understand easily, and they can act accordingly in their house, or and then they can apply it around them also. So I think in such a way, this malaria and dengue is a need of the hour as of now, because as we don't have a proper monsoon all over India now, suddenly it is raining. In one day we can see it's raining, and it is sweating, too hot, too cold, raining, everything together. So I think now the onsets are increasing in dengue, especially than malaria. So I think it's the right time to share my kind of small knowledge with the people who are really interested. Thank you.
So, ma'am, if we have your permission, can we go forward with the questions?
Sure.
So, I would like to ask the first question that people are mostly confused that what is the difference between malaria and dengue. So, would you like to enlighten us towards what's the basic major difference between malaria and dengue?
Actually, this malaria and dengue are entirely different.
Yes, ma'am.
Malaria is different, dengue is different. First, people should know this. But the common factor for this both malaria and dengue is mosquito. That's it. It is a common factor. Only the mosquito bite is causing this either malaria or dengue. There's no doubt in this. But both are different. That we should know at first. And when we talk about dengue, that is actually a viral fever. But when we talk about this malaria, and the main common thing, another common thing which you can say is both are female mosquitoes, which is causing this malaria or
Yeah.
dengue. So, like us female, the mosquitoes also female are very active. So
Yeah.
that is how these things happens. And when we talk about this malaria, we call it as a parasitic infection, where the mosquito is already infected, especially the female mosquito, which is already infected. It is coming and biting you, not just to bite you. Actually, it is not biting you. In malaria, you don't feel that, in dengue, you feel that, putting a kind of
Yeah.
injection thing. But in malaria, you don't feel it, because it just need a human blood for the eggs to lay and gets multiplied.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. So it is already infected. The infected, that female mosquito need a, there is anything, it need a medium, right? Even for us, we have amniotic sac, amniotic bag, which is inside. We need a baby to grow in
Yeah.
so that mosquito needs our human blood. So that comes and gets contact with the blood. That is how we get the malaria. But when we talk about dengue, it is a viral fever where the mosquitoes comes and bite, where it is a kind of, see, there is a difference between, already they have got a parasitic things, which is going, the parasite is going to pass something through our body, is not malaria, but this is just a bite. It comes and bite us, where we get a viral fever. So this is what is dengue is. But both are caused by female mosquitoes, but the mosquitoes are very different. You don't need to know about the names. So there's not a female mosquitoes. The sizes are different. The colors are different. Their the structure is completely different. One is in brown color, one is in hazel color. So something completely different. So, but the major thing is, this is what the mosquito bite is happening, but both are completely different. This is different and that is different. And when we talk about the incubation period also, when you talk about malaria, it takes almost like 7 to even a month after the bite. Because, when we talk about the egg, we need that egg to be get matured and
Yeah.
so many things. But in dengue, nothing like that. Just after the mosquito bite, just 3 to 4 days, within 7 to 10 days, you see, 4 to 10 days, everything is done. Even the cure, everything, treat, cure, everything is done within that span of time, because it is not going to transform you anything inside yours. It is just a bite where it causing the viral infection.
Okay.
So here the incubation time is also less. It's within 10 days, everything gets subsidized. So these are the major difference between this malaria and the dengue.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. The second question will be, is dengue or malaria contagious from person to person?
No. Actually speaking, by just sitting next to the person who has got malaria, or treating the people by just touching it, even if they cough in between you, even if they sneeze it before you, you are not going to get malaria or dengue, for sure. But the mosquito which sits on you, when it gets infected, suppose the mosquito is not infected, see, mosquito is not dengue mosquito, nothing, it is coming and sitting on you, that mosquito is getting the contact with the dengue blood or whatever inside, when that goes and sits to the next person, yes, it happens. But just by sitting next to the people who are ill, or treating them, or just giving them you're feeding them, you talk to them, even they sneeze, they cough, they do anything, or the sweat which we touch, we lie, we do anything, that is not contagious. It will not spread at all. So I think some people, the malaria also, they, it's not kind of COVID where they isolate and they think all those things, so this is not the condition. And another thing we can say is like, everybody thinks, when it comes like, each and every infection, we say airborne infection, waterborne infection, contaminated water, contaminated food. There are so many things, We call this as a mosquito borne, where it is passed by mosquito, and everybody thinks, okay, only when water is a contaminated or sewage water, that bacteria or that mosquito is going to affect us. No. Actually speaking, when we talk about this malaria and the dengue, one of the things which is common is, it actually breeds, or it actually comes in normal, clear water, clean water. Even the clean water will have the dengue mosquitoes or the malarial mosquitoes. There's nothing called the water is contaminated, so it has come. Nothing like that. This female, it can thrive even in normal clean water, where we have the drinking water. If we didn't close it, if it is open, when one mosquito goes in, then there is a chance for 2-3 mosquitoes to get matures there in the water. So that is enough for us. There's no need of it is only contaminated sewage water, this and that. Nothing like that.
Yes, ma'am. Because they are just eggs, right?
Yes,
Because
yes, they can thrive even in normal water. That is what people should know, because people, sometimes they keep so much of drinking water unused for more than, they don't even wash that,
yeah,
Nowadays, there's another reason I'm telling you, there's a research going on. Even we come in a plastic, we drink, what do you call that, water, RO water or whatever.
RO, yeah.
How many of us were cleaning that? We clean the candle, everything, okay, the filter candle, everything. But how many of the storage container, how many things we are going to clean it? Even that will may have got some headaches. Even in that it may edge. Even that it may, comes. So somehow, so you have to keep everything clean.
Okay. So, is a person who is suffering from malaria or dengue asymptomatic? Can they be asymptomatic?
98% of the patient are symptomatic. At least general fatigue and tiredness. Most probably the fever is onset for everyone. But and for dengue, it is almost 100% they are symptomatic only. For dengue, 100% they get a high fever from mild to severe, but mostly it is severe only because our platelets, because the red blood cells and plate cells have got a severe problem. Definitely they will show some problem. But in malaria, there is one type of see, in dengue also we have 4-5 types in it. In malaria also we have 4-5 types, and even the blood test we take, they'll be letting you know what kind it is. So when we talk about this dengue, it's 100%, almost 99.9% symptomatic. But in malaria, there is a one set of malaria there which that is actually asymptomatic, but it is more dangerous than any other thing, because at least in dengue you don't have prescribed. There's no antibiotics for dengue. There is no particular antibiotic. This is the tablet which can be given. There's no such tablet. But even for malaria, you have such tablets. A kind of tranquilin tablets. We have injections, antibiotics, which is given to the patients. So what happens when these kinds of malaria, this asymptomatic malaria is very dangerous, where the parasites gets double inside our blood. Suddenly after a month or two, because I told you the incubation time is also 1 month. So the person is very normal, no fever, no fatigue, no nothing. He says he's very normal and there's no blood test done because of that. Suddenly after a month or two, if it develops kind of blood, it develops, then red blood cells again drops down, and you get so many problems in our, general routine anemic levels. So then they fall sick, and that leads to hemorrhage, a big kind of troubles. But generally, that is very rare malarial symptom. But normally, both malaria and dengue is actually symptomatic.
Okay. Now, are there any vaccinations for malaria or dengue right now?
To be very true and honest, there is no vaccination.
Okay.
But I'm not very, actually, I thought of going through this with my seniors also after, I getting the topic, but still I couldn't find anybody. But I think in 2018 or 17, there is a country where they found some vaccine for dengue, but they say it can be given to the person only already affected with dengue, where they got the onset of dengue already, then they can have it. So that is what. But as a clear picture all over, I'm not just talking about India, throughout the world as of now, as we have the polio vaccination, hepatitis vaccination, this and that, as like that, there is no such vaccine for malaria and dengue anywhere in the world. As far as my knowledge is concerned, there are few which they found, but that was not effective.
Ma'am, so I would also like to ask that since all the people in India don't have good access towards medical attention and
Yes.
medical activity, like hospitals and all that, so is it treatable at home?
See, actually, this malaria, dengue is treatable at home. We
Okay.
can treat. If you don't have heavy kind of severe symptoms, it can be treated. Because in dengue, for this, when you ask about home treatment, I wanted to talk separately. I want to talk malaria separately and dengue separately. So when we talk about dengue, dengue is when, as I said, there is no tablet or there is no such antibiotic for dengue. So dengue, it is clearly, it is washed out only by the viral gets washed out only by fluid treatment. Fluids, they actually in the hospitals they measure the fluids and they measure the output also. That the only treatment for dengue is giving fluid measuring the fluid, and output is also measured. That is the treatment given. So this can be done at home also. It's like 200 ml of glass every 1 hour once, for 45 minutes once. We can feed them ORS drink, lemon juice, a lot of sweet lime juice, and papaya leaf juice. Papaya
Oh,
leaf juice, everybody
yeah.
knows this. And now we have got papaya tablets also, but fluids and the papaya juice we can make at home, kiwi fruits, a lot of proteins, and every 1 hour, 1 hour. Mainly, I don't even prefer solids, only fluids. Anything in a fluid form, kanji, what we say, porridge and all, everything given in a fluid form, and the measured. So this can be done at home also. A boy or girl can say, "Amma, I went for this much of amount of urine or this much of things." So this is how it can be treated at home also. But malaria depends upon the kind of malaria. It is better to get hospitalized at least for first 2 3 days, because they have to make their what do you call that, antibiotic adjustments. See, first, any antibiotic, it may not be suitable for everyone. So first they have to see whether it is working on the person, whether the malarial count is getting down or not. And after 3 4 days, they take the blood test and all. So there's a lot of things. So malaria, to treat that at home is little complicated. As far as I said, if it is very mild to moderate, yeah, still you can do it. And another thing in the malaria is, at least in the dengue, fluids can be given a lot. But in malaria, there is one symptoms where they get abdominal pain, and without eating itself, they feel full. I mean, like the satiety, they always feel, bulk and satiety. So what happens? They don't eat. So when they don't eat, when they don't drink, again it dehydrate. Then it is a problem for the patients. When they dehydrate, then what happens. So maybe in they get a loss of blood or rashes, muscle pain. They get fatigue, and that's very difficult to treat at home. So that way, I feel, depends upon the condition. For malaria, at least 2 to 3 days, the minimum, that antibiotic treatment alone at least important, because malaria have got the certain prescribed tablet. But dengue, yes, it can be treated at home if you have a proper management of diet and other things, food. Because in hospital, when you go for dengue treatment, clear cut, they don't give anything except 1 hour. Once they measure, give boost, they give Horlicks, they give soup, they give juice. This is what is given. They give porridge, anything in a liquid form, and they like only one time solid. Even the patient don't eat solid, also no problem. But in malaria, some complications are there.
So
So
malaria, basically, you need to have more fluids than solids.
in malaria, actually, eating itself is very difficult. Appetite itself is very difficult than this dengue. Dengue, drinking is very easy, but already that malaria, they have that antibiotic injection. You need a lot of solid food also to because a lot of doses are given to you. So more. I mean, actually speaking, malaria is more dangerous than the dengue if not treated properly, because see, in viral, it is just can be washed out as you drink many liquids, fluids, and and your platelet counts can be increased in future also, because even when it drops so down, it is not going to affect you anyway.
Yes.
But in malaria, as I told, the blood itself is getting the problem.
Okay.
Our blood
Yeah.
itself is getting, the eggs are
Contaminated. Yeah.
already laid in our blood. So we have to get purify the the blood stream has to be get purified. So you just think for that how much of antibiotics would be given, tablets, and if they have high fever and they have this kind of appetite problem, they can't drink, then fluids has to be given. I mean, IV fluids.
Oh, yeah.
So if you wanted to give the IV fluids, you can't keep the patient at home.
Yes.
It's very difficult. Even in dengue, I'm telling you, even the fluids can be given in the morning, go home, come in the evening, can be given. But in malaria, you can't give it, because if the patient don't eat anything at all, so what happens? So it has to be in the continuous constant fluid, so that within 2 3 days, the temperature gets down, the patient gets at least to the normal, because there will be a high temperature also. So it has to come down. There's a lot of things to be carried out. So in such a way, I feel malaria, at least if it is very severe, you have any problems, it is better to get admitted in the hospital than giving the home treatment. But dengue, even in the hospital, they give only home treatment. That is
Okay.
what.
Okay. So, do you think that there are various ads about mosquito repellents and Mortein and all that? Do you think they really work against dengue virus or malaria?
Actually, I would say this question is really complicated. And I'm just giving my own I don't want to tell anyone, or I don't want to quote anybody, I don't want to tell any brand name or anything, but I'm just telling you from my heart, it is my suggestion. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not using, or I'm not recommending anybody also to use any mosquito repellents, whatever it may be, because there is, I'm not very sure about it, there is a content. If you see the mosquito sprays and the ointment, there's ointments are there, sprays are there, the mosquitoes liquids are there, anything, it is called, it has one chemical DET, where it is called as diethyl diethyl toroethylene, something they will tell. No, that is actually, it is not good to even to smell or to apply it on a skin or anything. So as far as this repellents are concerned, this is actually, it is not too good at all, and especially for the kids. I have seen now, instead of putting a mosquito net, nowadays I'm seeing you many mother panicking, they apply kind of cream, rash cream and this
Mm.
cream and that cream on the apply, and less than 7 years you apply so many creams on the kid's body, there will be so much of difference when they grow old, and the skin gets thickened so easily. Even with the 25, 30 years, the skin gets thickened. So as far as I'm concerned, and when my, even to my patients, and there is various problems already, the asthmatic, and because of the coils and the liquids, there are other problems like asthma, wheezing problems. These are all happenings actually. It is a proven thing only. That is how the coils have been stopped earlier. These are the problems by using this mosquito repellents. So I think instead of using this repellents, the other, maybe then the next question you may ask, then what is the use of using, then what is the other things? Instead of using those repellents, I would suggest we can have a kind of full clothing, full clothes, and hygienic is more important. For personal
Yeah.
hygienic, should not stink. There's a lot of things available for us, to keep ourselves fresh.
Yes.
And using mosquito nets at home, and using the bats nowadays, we all say,
Yeah.
char maro,
Electric
che
bat.
maro, hum sab kabhi, like we all do this 4 and 6 at home. Each and everybody are given with one bats. I
Yes.
think these are actually ideal one, and no side effects. So I think, why do we need these kinds of, and using nets even for the kids? There are small different kinds of nets available to the bed,
Yes, ma'am.
and keeping our camera clean. The most
Yeah.
important, we dump all the cloths, washed cloths, and close the, dump, and who knows, there be a breeding in it.
Yeah.
So that is again a problem. And another thing, actually, the major difference between those two the dengue and malaria, this dengue mosquitoes will bite in the morning,
Yeah.
and this malaria mosquito bite in the evening
Mm.
and night.
Night. Yeah.
So it is the problem throughout the day. Then 24 hours we have to be
Yeah.
precaution only. So there is no choice. So according to it, we can have these kinds of things instead of this repellent. It's my personal choice, because I knew there are certain nutritionists or certain dietitians or certain even doctors, prescribing the kind of ointments, lotions. I don't
Yes.
want to tell any name. So
Yeah.
personally, they prescribe also. But as a yoga instructor, as I am a natural, I'm a person who always go naturally. I don't even take much of allopathy and other kind. So I personally don't recommend any of the mosquito repellents.
Yes, ma'am. So glad to hear that, man. Uh, so, one question: how does a person with dengue or dengue fever prevent it from spreading to others?
See,
Sin-
as I said, this is not going to spread by just touching other, or
yeah.
hugging other, or cleaning him, or there's nothing is going to worry about it. As I said, only thing is he should not get further bite.
Yeah.
Suppose, uh, see how we have the COVID onset now. Like that, actually, it is everywhere in India. We have to tell the municipality that we have dengue or malaria. We have to actually inform. It is all over the India. It is a rule. Suppose my family, if anyone have diabetic, I should inform the corporation to it, just because of the reason they have to come and see, okay, there is some problem here, another person may also get, because the infected mosquito may roam here only, right? because we are all very close to each other.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we talk about this, anybody can get that same mosquito bite and they can get it. So as far as this is concerned, I would never say how to make them comfortable is like they should not go anywhere else till that onset comes down, till the fever comes down for 1 week or 2 days. They can just stay at home and they can take good food and other things. But anyway, by spreading others, there's nothing can we can say it going to spread. I even in my home when my son has got, it is not necessarily that everybody should get. That's it.
Okay.
Unless and until the same mosquito bite me also, I make it. But it is
Yeah.
not necessarily it should happen. So it is like not necessarily that you should get.
Okay.
So only thing we can do is, that is what, as I said, keeping our surround clean and making the others alert. Suppose I am in this road, I have a dengue. I can alert my people. Hey, see, just I have a dengue. That means the one mosquito which bite me, maybe around here, somewhere here only at your house or at his place or hit, the next door, anywhere it can be in the up or it can be in the down, any door. So that we can tell them so that other people can be little,
Cautious.
cautious about,
Yeah.
and they can take some prevention for it. And as I said, prevention is nothing but another one thing which I would tell, as you asked one question, it is my personal opinion. I'm telling you, even in this, as I told you, how it can stop spreading others. Soon you feel that you have a dengue. Even this you can do, even if you don't have dengue or malaria also. Instead of using any other coils, so one question gives so many answers like that. There are some oils which can be used, applied on us, like coconut oil. There are some essential oils which is available, so many essential oils, apple cider vinegars, and these things. Generally, the lemon, any citrus fruits, in a water, pouring an onion and kind of citrus fruits and keeping in the corners of the house, and keeping the apple cider vinegar, boil it for a while and keep it. These are the measures I use daily. Even suppose the patient, somebody is affected in the home, they can do this, or kinds of essential oils like coconut oil, apply on them so that he will not get further bite. Because we don't know it, today we got it, we may get further bites, because again it will be a problem for them, even especially in malaria. So applying coconut oil will help them. The mosquitoes won't bite easily, and even if they bite, they can't transmit, as there is a medium on our
Yes, ma'am.
skin. And that coconut oil is actually very good for health also. It generates the skins, and it is good also for our health. So these kinds of essential oils, badam oil, these things can be scented oils, and lemongrass oils that gives very good smell.
Yeah.
Washing the house with lemongrass oil, these things can be kept everywhere, even in a bowl, so that in the air it gets spreads to the thing and you get a good smell. At the same time, it will prevent others also in spreading. As you said, for spreading, even we that is how, you remember, even when we have the chicken pox and all, they will have that neem thing, we
Yeah,
all
ma'am.
have a
Neem.
neem they keep, because
Yeah.
it not only give the signs to others that somebody is infected, it's also giving a sign that it will not spread. That's because that is anti, it has got so many anti-immune, or it's got so many effects on it, so it will help others by spreading. So these
Yes.
are the things. This is all my opinion, because as a natural
Yeah.
way I'm telling you.
Natural remedies. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, ma'am, the last question for the day will be: Is it is there any danger in traveling to an area where dengue or malaria outbreak has been reported?
Absolutely. Last month, I think in Delhi, they reported more cases. Almost every 2-3 hours, the Delhi hospital got the cases of dengue, especially dengue onset. I think last month, November and December, they had a high onset of dengue in Delhi. So, actually speaking, it was more than COVID actually. But
Oh,
now this is a COVID season. Everybody were worried about COVID. Actually, some of them, even once they get fever, they forgot that it may be other things also. Everybody thinks that if they get fever, everything's okay. Quarantine themselves. So that again created a lot of problem. Actually, one of my friend working in WHO, and one of my friend working in the Indian Central Aims also, he was also telling there was a lot of chaos happened in November end and December in Delhi, just because people thought that this is something where even once they get fever, they quarantine themselves. They didn't get properly treated, because only blood test can be proved either it is dengue or malaria. Otherwise, you can't, by seeing the person, you can't tell whether he's got malaria or dengue. So they had got a lot of problems just because of that. So when we know, and actually that time he was telling me, actually Soundarya, the whole India have got a lot of onset of this. I mean, many people from dengue, but actually government is not giving much importance to that because they are already occupied with something. COVID, the more pandemic one. So they don't want to interfere in this endemic thing. So this is what has happened actually in our country itself last November, December. I don't know how many of them know about this. So that is what the traveling has to be avoided. And even when you get, if you are a survivor of dengue or malaria, for the next 1 month, it is better for you to stay home or, stay away from these travels and all, just because of the reason the second onset will be very severe in case if you get. So then what happens then? People doesn't know. They travel again and again. And the malarial parasite, it takes time to get settled. Even at least dengue, as I said, and within 10 days, 15 days, you'll be okay. You can come to the normal level. But malaria, a lot of body pain, the lips pain, the lot of leg pain will be there. The person to come out of the situation is very difficult. At least it takes a month to get that more immunity, because red blood cells drops down, so many things. So to get that normal things, it takes a lot of time. So without knowing that, what they do, they travel, they eat unhealthy foods. Again, the blood gets contaminated. Even if your abdomen gets upset, then you get into a lot of problems. So it is better in two ways, I would say. You should, before we travel, we should know whether that particular place is got a lot of cases or what. If that is so, we should avoid that. Or we have malaria or dengue and we have to travel, then again, we also have to stop our traveling for next a month, at least month or 40 days at least from traveling. So both the way, either you have or you don't have. If you have, also you have to avoid traveling. If you're traveling, but the place is so prone for that time, then we should avoid. Especially in the monsoon times, the humid temperature, if it is very high, even that is a time for breed. So this malarial mosquitoes and all, very intelligent. I would say in all the mosquitoes, these female mosquitoes are very intelligent. They know everything. And this dengue mosquito is actually responsible for this yellow fever and chikungunya.
Yes, ma'am.
When we study about mosquitoes, it is a wide field. I think future it has got very good scope because there is a lot of viral which is going to come up, I think, because of this intelligent mosquitoes.
Yes, ma'am. Also, they are mutating day by day. So
Yes, true. They're adopting. See, even we kept the coil, they got adopted after some
yeah,
time. And we kept the liquid. For some time, they were like, fainting. After that, they got adopted to the liquid. They straight away sit on the liquid, but the liquid is on. They sit on the liquid, no
yeah,
mosquitoes will die. Even now, you get you apply something, it's getting adopted. So, as like how they say COVID, it's like mutating. These
yeah,
mosquitoes also, more we give the repellents and this and that, it is getting mutated to the one which we found, and it is enjoying its time. We are the one, updating the repellents and other things.
yeah, yeah,
But that in such a way, it is very happily mutating to different kinds of mosquitoes, very actively.
yeah, ma'am.
So,
Very true. So,
so
thank you,
I would
ma'am.
suggest just keep everything clean,
Yeah,
clean
yeah,
drink, place clean. Don't think that it is just the water, good water. It is from my well, it is from my place. Nothing like that. Keep everything close, keep everything clean, camera clean, sofa clean, the bed especially, we don't even, we keep, I'm telling you a very simple example. This has been one of the this has been a problem, and they're going they're going to do a research in it. See, we lie down on the bed and we apply so many oils, creams, and so many things. How many of you know that after 3-4 days, if you don't wash the pillow cover, because of that smell, because of that things, there is a chance of breeding the mosquitoes? Do you know that?
yes, ma'am. We have to change the sheets every day,
Sheep.
actually.
So the at least every day anyway, they say it's not a hotel. At least
It's
3 days once, 4 days once. We apply oil, this and that. So that, because of that smell, that is a source for the breeding. But
yes,
most of them, they don't change at all. They just lie down on the same thing. It smells. Everybody thinks it's only smell. It is not the smell. The smell is absorbing. It is giving a way for the mosquitoes to come in, to get breed and come out. So when you're not there, it will actually be inside. So when you come out, the egg will be there. You don't know.
yes, ma'am.
And you will be sleeping on it. Then you will be getting into a problems. So these are the problems. So the simple thing is to keep our place clean and be hygienic. That is the best way to get rid of all these problems.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, a small request. Yesterday
Yeah.
we had the psychological quiz
Okay.
for dengue and malaria. So, I would like you to please
Okay.
announce the name of the winners.
Okay. Actually, I got the list now. The
Yes, ma'am.
third winner is. Shall we go from the third or the first?
Yes, ma'am. Reverse would
Reverse.
be a
Okay.
great. Yeah.
The third winner is Prasad Devkar. And the second winner, Rahul Chavan. And the first winner is Divya Datta. Good.
Congrats to all the winners. Yeah. So, ma'am, would you like to say something in the end?
Yes. The end note only I just gave you all now.
Yeah.
The last note which I wanted to give you is it is very difficult, though we adopt so many natural things, natural foods, natural, I eat uncooked food, I do this and that, whatever it may be. You do utmost care to your body, utmost care to the place where you live. You take everything, utmost care. But it is not necessary that you don't get anything, even you take utmost care. Still, there is a chance because you may say that I'm taking only fruits, but you're not, you're not getting the fruit from your garden. It is anyway coming from outside. We don't know what kind of pesticide it used. I may say I'm using only salads, but all the vegetables in the salad, we don't know where it is coming, what are the pesticides. So the thing is, we can adapt ourselves to the good habits, but it is not necessarily we don't get. So we should always have a mindset of saying ourselves, even when we do yoga and other things. I'm as a yoga instructor, I'm telling you, we do yoga regularly, exercises, this and that. But only one thing we should ask to ourselves is, I'm not doing all these things. It's not just that I don't get anything. I'm doing all these things. Even if I get anything, I have a mental power and the physical power to face anything. This is what we should always ask to ourselves and even to the Almighty. That is, or don't say that I don't get COVID, I don't get this. Instead of that, say, even if suppose I had, anyway, I take a lot of precautions. In spite of taking precautions, in spite of taking precautions, I do get, you must tell yourself, I will fight and I'll come out of it. I have the enough immunity in it because I do exercises daily, I do my yoga daily, I do my pranayama daily, I do my meditation daily. I've taken good food, I have a good health measures, I don't eat sugars, I don't eat this and that. So I'm healthy and I'm mentally I'm strong, I'm physically I'm strong enough to face anything, I'll come out of it. So I think this kind of mentality is what is needed for everyone, because this is how we should raise the kid also. Instead of telling go on the right road, tell them there is a, dig this and that, you fell down many things, but you make sure you get up and run. This is what we have to tell. So make the sound health physically and mentally.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. That was very insightful of yourself. And thank you for taking out the chunk of your valuable time for this webinar. And
Sure,
we
sure.
hope to see you soon again. And also, I would like to thank my teammates for making this webinar possible.
Sure.
And
Hope it was useful, and hope you guys had at least kind of unknown things, at least one or two unknown things which I
Yes,
would have
ma'am.
suggested.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. Thank you for so much for joining with us today, ma'am.
Sure, Anand.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you,
thank you,
thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much.
ma'am.
Have a nice
ma'am.
day. Have
Thank
a
you.
nice
Thank you,
day.
ma'am.
Thank
Same to you,
you.
ma'am. Have a
Thank you
nice
so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.